Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We are watching Madoka Magica episode 4. Oh, last time was a big one, because Mommy died. And, man, I am just very curious to see what kind of effect that is going to have on Madoka and Sayaka. If I had to guess, my whole crazy idea that this is all, that was all some kind of, plan Kyubey has in some way to try and convince them to become magical girls. I feel like if Homura hadn't shown up at the end to defeat the witch, then they would have made their contracts right then and there. I'm almost wondering if it's since they didn't, since Akemi showed up and they didn't make their contracts right then and there. I'm almost wondering if it's almost going to have the opposite effect, and it is going to make Madoka and Sayaka not want to become magical girls because they just saw someone get brutally murdered. But I guess we'll see. So, yeah, we are starting episode 4, Madoka Magica. You can line up here and copy with this if you want to, but we are starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, he's not here? Hmm. I wonder what exactly it is that is ailing him. Oh, okay. Oh, so okay. Maybe I'm dumb. That makes sense. From that flashback in the last episode. I wonder, huh. So it's his legs and stuff too, not just his hand. I wonder what it is. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. It makes sense why she blames herself so much for not wishing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is what Mommy brought up, whether or not she wants to be the person who saves him or not. Oh. Huh. Hmm. Interesting. So I feel like one of my questions has kind of been answered already. I feel like Sayaka seeing Mommy dying. I don't know. I don't know if that'll have that much of an impact on her in terms of wanting to become a magical girl. Because, yeah, she said that she now sees the price, but she might think that price is worth it. you know, I really think she does. Because they were already viewing it in terms of, you know, uh, trading your life, essentially, for whatever your wish is, which I really think Sayaka thinks that she should be willing to trade her life to heal Kamijo. Which, I don't know. Hard to say if I think that's a good thing or not, I suppose. Guess it depends on, well, I don't know. I don't know. Be a very selfless sacrifice, that's for sure. And if it's based off her just thinking that she's horrible if she doesn't do it, I don't think that's a very good motivation. But I guess it also depends on, what Mommy brought up in the last episode. Whether or not she just wants to be the one who saves him or not. It's an interesting question. Of course, that doesn't really change the meaning of the action, though. yeah. Oh, can't even talk to anyone about it. Assume she's gonna blame herself for it too. Oh. No, I don't think that's it. I don't think it tastes so bad that she started crying. That would be very sad. Mm-hmm. Hmm. She's trying to distract herself, I think. Kind of different, kind of opposite. Mm-hmm. Kind of opposite reactions they have to it, huh? Madoka can't think about anything else, and Sayaka wants to avoid thinking about it. Not this again. Did she break up with someone again? Hmm. Does Kyubey have anything to say? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Do you? Cuts to Kyubey's face. He's very interested in that. Oh. Ah, God. Hmm. Fact that she still views it as being selfish, that she doesn't want to do it, though. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, if you believe that, I think it's pretty clear that's not all Akami cares about. Interesting. Okay. Everyone wants to be rewarded for their actions. I. Hmm. Okay. We'll see about that. Was it fun? I don't know if that's the word I would use. Oh, yeah. Um. Oh, it's open. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Man, not good. I don't think she should be feeling like that, and I think that's. Hmm. Mm-hmm. You really are. Interesting. Kinda. I don't know if she's really thinking of your warning the same way you are, though. Yeah, she still just automatically goes to blaming herself for it. Saved Sayaka's life, too. Ooh. Huh. Hmm. Hmm. What happens to magical girls in the end? Hmm. Wonder what her wish was. Hmm. Interesting. You'll never forget. You know, I must feel like she already has forgotten. Hmm. She'll never forget. Hmm. Oh, because he can't play anymore? Oh, God. Oh, the lighting. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, oh, no. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. What's up, Cube? Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not good. It's just not good. Oh, oh, God. Oh, no. It's the witch thing. What did they call it? Okay. She's like possessed, I guess. She's not just walking to kill herself like that lady last time. Okay, maybe she is. Or maybe that's what they always do. Somewhere far better than here. All right. Oh, God. I hope this isn't. Surely Cube isn't going to show up here, too, and convince Madoka. Oh, it's a bunch of people. Okay. I not again. We had the same problem with Mommy. Okay. Fantastic. It's great. Don't. What's in there? Oh, nothing? Oh, okay. Cool. Fantastic. Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Why would you tell her that? I guess it's important, but still, come on. That's a bad way of wording it, I feel like. Oh, no. I hope not. Or, okay. Great. The fantastic. Oh, okay. Hey, see? She's saving people anyway, without being a magical girl. Although, yeah, what's gonna be the. Okay. Surely someone will come help, and it won't be Cube, I'm hoping. Is that the barrier thing? Or is that just the witch? I guess that's just the witch. Fantastic. Great. Oh, awesome. Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, okay. She died. Unlucky. Oh no. What are those? I can't tell what those words say. Hmm. Yeah, because she blames herself so much. So, I'm a liar. So, Sayaka is gonna show up, surely? Okay. Because she made the pact, right? Or the contract. Oh, yep. Oh, no. Well, I mean, I'm glad she's here, but the fact that she made the contract is, uh, worries me. Hmm. Would Akemi have been here anyway, I wonder? Would she have been able to help Madoka in time without Sayaka? Yeah. Had a change of heart. I wonder what happened with Kamijo. Yeah. She failed. Didn't save her. Yeah, she really cared about that grief seed, I'm sure. And he's healed. How great. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Gonna have to settle a territorial dispute here. Kyoko. Aye, it's fantastic. Great. Fantastic. Ah, man. Oh no. This is not good. I mean, this isn't good. Clearly, this isn't good. That Sayaka has made the contract, right? Like, let alone the fact that now her life is at risk and she could just die fighting a witch. There's just no way it's a good thing, right? It just can't be. Like, uh, let me read the lyrics. I haven't really read them for the ending that much. But Madoka has escaped another episode without making the contract yet, which I think is a good thing. Oh. Hmm. Wonder what this face is supposed to be at the end. If it's supposed to be something. I don't know. Okay. Oh yeah, I can watch this, can't I? Well, maybe. I hope so, Sayaka. I hope so. I will never regret it. We will see about that. Alright, I will see you guys in the discussion. Alrighty, guys, let's talk about the episode. So, man, so Sayaka has made the contract, which I really don't know what to think about that. I don't think it is a good thing. Let's just say that. Again, like, I guess I really don't have any reason, you know, I really don't know why I'm so suspicious of Kyubey and everything, other than just the framing that the show has shown me, right? Like just how ominous he always is, and just how, to me, it's just like obvious that he is up to no good with this whole contract business. I mean, obviously, I think it's pretty clear becoming a magical girl. Um, well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say it's pretty clear. I feel like the way I'm interpreting it, the idea of becoming a magical girl, I think, has some negative connotations with potentially what the show is about, right? What like the themes of the show, right? Like if we're thinking like Madoka's entire Madoka's journey here is trying to figure out who she is, who she wants to be, as she, becomes an adult. I mean, she's getting there, right? But as she gets older, she wants to figure out who she is, who she wants to be. And Kyubey is here offering becoming a magical girl to fix all your problems, so you don't have to, you don't have to figure out who you want to be. You become perfect, you become a magical girl. Um, so it's just even with that framing, I feel like just the idea of becoming a magical girl is already not a good thing. But I just think beyond like the thematic level of it, I think as obviously in universe, Kyubey is up to no good of some kind. I don't know what he gets out of these contracts. Sayaka seems fine, right? Like we hadn't really seen like what any character was, how they were changed by the contract before, but Sayaka doesn't really seem to be any different, other than she's a magical girl now. So it doesn't seem like it had any immediate negative effects on her. So I guess I am. And man, this scene looks so good when she shows up and stuff. I guess I'm just very curious how this is gonna go badly for her. Because I know that it's going to. It has to. It's not gonna be a good thing. I don't know, like I guess you could just say it's the fighting the witches and she's gonna die or something fighting a witch. But I feel like just even beyond that, unless there's some analogy for like, which I'm sure there is, unless there's some analogy or metaphor for what the witches represent, in terms of there's something that magical girls have to fight. But outside of like some really crazy, completely unsubstantiated stuff, I really can't think of anything specifically. So outside of like just Sayaka potentially dying fighting witches, I feel like even then, this whole contract is not a good thing. So I don't know. I guess it's certainly, I mean, even the framing of her wish here, right? Like, look at his face. Like, yeah, he's healed, which is great. It certainly doesn't show it in a good light. She got what she wanted. She got her wish. Kind of took a shortcut. She made the contract. I guess in this case, I mean, would you even call it a shortcut? It was something that was impossible otherwise, wasn't it? That's what he said, at least. That's what Kamajo said. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to see more to really say what I think. I worry that I'm completely off and that I could just be completely wrong about how I'm viewing magical girls and what they represent in the story. But I guess I don't know. Because it's like, obviously Akemi isn't very happy either about Sayaka becoming a magical girl. Akemi herself assumedly made a contract with Kyubey, right? I mean, I would think so. Unless, I mean, there was that weird time loop stuff I brought up that I will talk about in a second with their conversation between Akemi and Madoka, but assuming Akemi made the contract, I mean, she's alive still. She hasn't been murdered, so, I mean, whatever Kyubey gets out of this whole contract to make you a magical girl. I guess it's something that isn't always imminent death, because Hakumi's alive, but I don't know. It's nothing good. That's just what I'll say. So Sayaka's down. Madoka made it another episode without dying. Without dying, without making this contract. I really am equating the two. So, yeah. So we get more information about Kamijo at the beginning here. I guess I'm dumb. I didn't realize when they showed us that flashback of the violin that was him playing it. So yeah, he was a violin player. Something's up with his. I don't know. He has some kind of muscular skeletal degenerative disease or something. I don't know, because he can't walk right either. So unlucky. She calls herself a horrible person, which, it's interesting how she views it like that. Because I think, her wish really is very her wish is very selfless, assuming it's not like, Mommy brought up the concept of it, that she really just wants to be the person who saves Kamijo, and she thinks about that some in this episode as well. But even if that is it, I feel like either way, her wish is quite selfless. So it's just interesting. She blames herself so much for not just making this decision right away. Even though, even after Mommy dying, they understand the risks even more about what it means, and she still wants to do it anyway. She just really... It's like Madoka, right? Madoka just wanting to help people. And Madoka certainly blames herself. Madoka blames herself for not wanting to form the contract. She feels like she could have saved Mommy, I'm sure. Yeah, she thinks she's just failing by not having made this wish. I mean, even I'm sure even just the idea of other people having to come and fight the witches. I bet that's going to happen with Sayaka too. I didn't even think about that. I bet Madoka is going to blame herself for Sayaka having to fight the witches, and Madoka not doing it herself. So it's just more and more stuff piling up on Madoka that is. It's just, man. All of these girls, at least Sayaka and Madoka, have really been perfect targets for Kyubey getting them to form a contract. Madoka, it's more of a struggle, I guess. Sayaka, it worked out in this episode, but Madoka, it just feels like there's more and more stuff piling up that is eventually going to convince her to form this contract that I really hope doesn't happen. And it's like, despite seeing Mommy die and everything, all it really does is just make her feel worse. It doesn't make her think like, it doesn't scare her away from being a magical girl completely, right? It doesn't make her think like, oh, okay, I don't want anything to do with that. All it does is make her blame herself and think that because she isn't taking on that same burden of being a magical girl and fighting the witches, that she, is being awful and is being a terrible person. Sayaka is the one who called herself a horrible person, but Madoka, I think, obviously thinks the same thing. That's why she was viewing that witch attacking her as punishment, And I think it's very interesting. They have like opposite reactions to it. Sayaka is just talking about anything else, like trying to distract herself from Mommy's death. Madoka can't think of anything but Mommy's death. We're in a different world. I just really can't... Oh, God. Do I really, like... I can't help but feel like this conversation they have here about feeling like they're in a different world. Like, obviously, I understand what they mean. Like, on, like, a, if I was in their position, I totally understand what they mean when they say, now they understand there are these weird witches around, and, yeah, it feels like they're in a different world. There's all this death and stuff going on. These magical girls fighting witches that they didn't know about before, right? I can't help but feel like it's something I'm missing in terms of what magical girls represent, like as a theme. Something, God, something about what it means that magical girls have to fight witches. And I know that's very vague. I know, I want to be clear, like, I'm purely just talking like on like a metaphorical level, like just a thematic level, what it means that magical girls fight witches. Like, that's what they're talking about, that they now understand that that's something going on around them. Um, but I guess I just don't really know what thematic meaning to take from that, what it means exactly, like on a story writing level, I suppose. Because it's kind of making me rethink my whole perception of what magical girls are in my mind, which is like it being like a shortcut to becoming the quote unquote perfect version of yourself. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say about it is that I don't know. So unlucky, I guess. Hmm. And yeah, I mean, obviously, like in terms of like an in-universe level, I understand their feelings completely, like what they're saying, obviously. Hmm. Do you still want to be a magical girl? Cuts to Kyubei's face. Like the way they show the contrast of Kyubei's shadow as well is very it does it in a sec on this shot. Kyubei says it's been mommy's territory. Someone else is gonna hunt the witches. Of course, Madoka blames herself for that she's not gonna be doing that. And Kyubei brings up about how everyone wants to be like rewarded for their work, which I feel like plays into most people would think about personal gain. It's like it really does play into like what Mommy said in the last episode about whether or not Sayaka just wants to be the person who saved Kamijo, or whether or not she just wants to save Kamijo. Um, hmm. It almost feels like in a way that's reinforcing it, that if that really is what Sayaka wants, that if a large part of her motivation is that she wants to be the person who does it, it's almost like Kyubei is supporting that idea, in her mind. Anyway, this is the shot I'm talking about here in a sec. When he says he can't pressure them into it, I feel like, he's, I guess technically he hasn't, but it sure is funny that the situations they've been in have been very much pressuring them into it. So, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, this shot here, I was just like, just the contrast between him and his shadow just feels so strong. It's like how the whole background is white and his shadow is so dark, you know? Ah, it feels like it very much speaks to the potential, I think, not even potential, just evident darkness in Kyubei as a character, right? Whatever he is up to. So she goes to Mommy's apartment, of course blames herself for Mommy's death, obviously. Homura really knows what's up. Akemi tells her not to blame herself, and we have this very interesting conversation where we talk about magical girls and everyone forgetting them when they die. Hmm. Which, again, I guess I just don't. Maybe I just have to rethink everything about my interpretation of magical girls. I don't know. Unless there's some way to fit this whole idea of everyone forgets magical girls when they die. There's no corpse left behind. That's just how it is. I'm really just trying to connect that, right, to my interpretation of what I feel like magical girls represent in the story. And I don't really know how to do that. Hmm. I guess it just really makes me feel like I might be wrong about what I'm viewing magical girls as a representation of. But I don't know, but I feel like I can't be wrong about that. So, I don't know. I really don't know. Hmm. Obviously, one thing that this conversation does is it makes Madoka feel even more like personally responsible for Mommy's fate in a way, right? Because she's the only person who's going to remember Mommy, she feels like. I mean, I assume Sayaka will too, right? But Madoka's not really thinking about that. But the way that she says no one will remember her past her death and blah, 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 Madoka, it's like Madoka is now personally responsible for Mommy's, continuing to exist, basically, through her memories, you know? So it really just feels like it's just more personal responsibility that Madoka feels like she has. That's just, yeah, it's just layer upon layer of stuff that's just making her feel awful. And just, I worry it is inching her close to making this contract with Kyubey. I guess in a way you can view it, this whole, purely self-sacrificial thing that Madoka, Madoka is viewing it in this way that magical girls are you know what? Okay, maybe it makes sense, my interpretation of it. Madoka is viewing it in this way that magical girls, if they're like the perfect representation of a perfect person, pretty much, right? Then they must be fighting selflessly for everyone else, right? That's what she says, is how, mommy saved everyone, she was fighting to protect everyone from witches, and no one's even going to remember her, right? It's terrible. Um, of course, Madoka's viewing it that way because that would be her own motivation for becoming a magical girl and fighting witches, right? That's the reason she would have for doing it, right? Um, I guess it's kind of naive in a way, right? Akemi Homura kind of points that out, saying like people, not everyone is, most people are just fighting for their own personal gain, Um, in a way, it's like magical girls, I guess, in Madoka's mind, that's where they represent the idea of a perfect thing for her, right? She imagines a magical girl, a perfect person, to be someone who fights selflessly for everyone else's sake. And in a way, I guess Akemi is just pointing out how that's like naive. Sorry, to view it like that. Because everyone, yeah, because I mean, really in the world, everyone fights for their own wishes, right? And I guess Madoka's not really doing that. Her entire, everything that she wants and does, the way she's so inspired by people around her to be like them. It's like she doesn't have her own wishes, right? How the thing that she came up with, the wish she was going to have to become a magical girl before mommy's death, was to just be like mommy. Um, so it's like every magical girl is fighting for the sake of their own wish, and Madoka doesn't really have one. Obviously she doesn't have one, or she would have made the contract already. Um, hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes this conversation make more sense to me. I guess it fits with my interpretation. Hmm. It just matters more. It matters a lot more just on Madoka's interpretation of what a magical girl is, I suppose. I guess you can just view it as almost every character's interpretation of what a magical girl is like representative of what their wish is, and why they're wishing for what they wish for. Which, I guess I wish I knew what Akemi's wish was. Hmm. So, you know, Madoka, I just want to point this out because I think it's, I mean, not funny, but I think it's just something very worth noting, right? Madoka says she'll never forget about Homura either. Um, but I feel like, the shots that show Akemi, like, her reaction to Madoka saying that, it just reminds me of in the first episode, right? When Akemi starts talking to Madoka, it's obvious that there's some weird shit going on, like with the whole dream stuff and the, I don't know. Like my idea was the whole time loop thing. I don't know if that's true or not. It's probably not, but like it's obvious that Akemi remembers stuff with Madoka that Madoka doesn't remember. So, Madoka says she'll never forget her. I think she already has forgotten her, right? Because it's obvious that Akemi, Homura, remembers a lot of stuff between her and Madoka that Madoka doesn't remember anymore, right? No matter what, whether this is some weird time loop thing or something involving that dream Madoka had in the beginning of the first episode, but you know, I think it's clear Madoka already has forgotten Homura in some form. So I just think that's interesting. And then she says a Hanakawa line here, like, come on. Hmm. God, this looks like such a Monogatari shot to me. I guess it's, I mean, obviously, they're all Monogatari shots. Like, come on. And then, I feel so bad for Kamijo. And it's obviously, it's just like now, after he says all this, it's like their very relationship is at stake, and like obvious, it's no surprise that she immediately makes the wish, makes the contract, and of course, Kyubei's right there to God, just how like painful that is. Like he breaks the CD with his hand, but he can't even feel it. Like, oh. And there's Kyubei. There is Kyubei to save the day, I'm sure. Hmm. And then all of this happens, which again, I don't know. I don't know how much I should say Kyubei is at play in all of this, right? I don't want to, because it really was my interpretation before that the two witches that they saw Mommy fight, it played so well into Kyubei's, like what Kyubei wants, that it felt like he was almost the one like controlling the situation. But I guess I don't know why Kyubei, like, if Kyubei is controlling the witches or something, some crazy thing like that. I don't know why he would do all of this, right? None of this really has anything. None of this made Madoka want to make a contract, so maybe that's just Kyubei might just be opportunistic with his manipulation, and it's not so much that he's literally creating these situations himself. But yeah, they're all gonna kill themselves. For one, Madoka saves them anyway, without being a magical girl, which, like, like, good job. She did it. Like, big, like, huge, honestly. Like, come on. I hope she, like, thinks about that at some point. Like, literally, she saved all these people. So, like, come on. Huge, big. I hope she acknowledges that in the next episode. Because, like, imagine what it would have been like for her if Hitomi and everyone died, I mean, she would have died too, but... And I guess, obviously, through this scene, what we see what the witch does to her, and she's thinking of it as her own punishment. I feel like she's just too depressed and too hard on herself to even think about that right now, but... And I just feel like Sayaka making the contract as well, taking what Madoka views as a self-sacrifice to fight the witches, that's just going to make Madoka feel even worse and even more like she needs to make the contract. So, great. Fantastic. And Sayaka saves her. And it's like, when Homura sees, obviously, she made the contract. When Madoka and Homura were talking earlier, and she says, like, oh, I'm glad I was able to save your life, I almost wonder if she's more so talking about, I'm glad you guys didn't make the contracts, more so than literally saving them from the witch. I don't know. Almost one and the same, And we're introduced to Kyoko, who wants to beat up Sayaka. So, great. Fantastic. We have a territorial dispute. Fantastic. Okay, I guess that's it. That was a good episode. I feel like I have evolved my thinking some on magical girls and what they are. It's been really good so far. I've really liked this anime. I wish I could watch the next episode, but I got stuff to do, sadly. So, man, yeah, that was good. Leave a comment, tell me what you guys think. I don't know. I'm worried about being spoiled. I guess not spoiled, but I want to figure out my own stuff, I guess, about what I think magical girls represent. And I don't think I'm wrong. I feel like this fits. I feel like I've kind of got it, but we'll see. I don't know. So yeah, I guess that's it, and I will see you guys in the next one.